everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen, and some of them are fails. Now, this is a fail video. Oh, yes, I am going to share with you a fail video because I am hoping that someone has a recipe for me that will remedy this situation. See, here's the story. I make macarons. I love to make them for Valentine's Day this last year. I made them for my chiropractor's office. I made them for my women's group. I make them all the time. I love them. Love, love, love. Now, Rosalie at my chiropractor's office has just gone on the keto diet. And so she asked me if I have ever done a sugar-free, keto-friendly macaron. Well, no, Rosalie, I have not. But because I like to adventure in my kitchen, and because I love to do things for my friends, and I consider you my friend, I'm gonna do it for you. And I'm gonna find a keto recipe that is a macaron that is fantastic. That's where this adventure was born. Now, like every good adventurer, I hopped on the internet and I went to several recipes and I found one, and it said, macarons, no fail. Sugar-free, keto-friendly, macarons, no fail recipe. And it had 4 stars. Now, at 4 stars, usually 4 or 5 stars, I'm like, okay, enough people like this. I did not read the comment section of this post, and I regret that immensely. The recipe that we're gonna do today is from Wholesome Yum. I don't doubt, let me just preface this, you guys. I do not doubt that this recipe probably works. But there is something wrong with her recipe calculator when she entered it. Because in her notes, it says that you probably want to weigh the ingredients out, which I always weigh my macarons out, always. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll weigh them out. But my scale was somewhere else when I was measuring. So I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'll just measure it and then I'll weigh it before I do it for you. So I took my measuring cups, weighed everything out, and the exact ingredients she asked for to the, I bought her sweetener, and it's expensive sweetener, okay? I bought it, measured it out with a measuring cup, put it in a bowl, prepped it, got it ready to go, went to jump on camera, decided, oh, I'm gonna get my scale out and just make sure that I wasn't heavy-handed or packed anything in, you know, just because they're macarons. They are finicky. I started to weigh this ingredients out and they were all wrong. And I was like, okay, hold on. So then I switched back again. Nope, everything was still the same. And so I was very, very confused. But I'm like, okay, let's just pretend I didn't see the metric measurements. We'll just erase that from my mind and we'll just measure everything. So I went with all the measurements, and here's what resulted. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our almond flour, our powdered stevia or monk fruit blend. Now, if you cannot find powdered, you can make it yourself in a food processor. You're just gonna need a 1-to-4 ratio of stevia to cornstarch. You're gonna need 1/4 of a cup of stevia and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So if you blend that up in your food processor, you will get like a powdered sugar alternative. And so that's what we're gonna use today. And we're getting it all in a sieve. We're gonna sieve it all together. We're also gonna put in our cocoa powder and our salt. And I'm just gonna sieve it into this bowl. And the reason we sieve it is so that everything is kind of the smallest it can be. All right, and once that's sieved together, we're gonna swap bowls. We're gonna bring over this bowl, and then we are going to go ahead and get our egg whites ready to go. So what we're going to do, we're gonna basically beat these until they're frothy, and then we're gonna go ahead and add our sugar. Then we're gonna beat until they are at soft peak form, and then we're gonna add our vanilla. Then we're gonna beat to firm peaks. All right, let's check for stiff peaks. Looking pretty stiff if you ask me, but this is the real test. Ready? Stiff peaks. All right, we are going to mix 1/3 of this mixture into our firm peaks here. So we're gonna do a third, fold a little bit, a third, fold a little bit, until we get that ideal consistency like we know macarons should be. Now, if you have never done macarons before, we're gonna look for a kind of like a ribboning, and then we know that they are ready to go and ready to be piped. All right, so we'll just sprinkle a third, and then we're just gonna fold a little bit. All right, next third. Now, this recipe only makes 12 cookies, so I did keep it at a small amount. And there's a good reason behind that. Number one, I don't know if they're gonna be good. I mean, the recipe says they're no fail, but when you change to the metric measurements, things get a little dicey. And so I wanted to make the smallest amount possible. And I say that because when I measured out the exact sweetener that she wanted me to use, and it was 1/4 of a cup, when I changed it to metric, the metric numbers were off. Now, that being said, this does not look correct. So, not exactly sure what to do about this for the moment. Yeah, I feel like that batter, there is something screwy going on with that batter. Okay, onward we will ploy. Just because, why not? We'll see. It said no fail, but wholesome yum, I'm feeling like this is a fail. Not sure how they're gonna bake. Maybe they'll be good cookies anyway. Sometimes when things like this happen, I'm like, do I even wanna finish this as a video? I don't know if I do, because this is wrong. I know how to make macarons, and this is wrong. So at this point, I get to decide what I wanna do, because this feels like, I don't even know what it feels like, but it does not feel like macaron batter at all. But we are going to onward press, because why not? I mean, do I put a little bit more egg whites in it? I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, back up. I'm gonna put this back in here. We're gonna pretend that that never happened. And I'm gonna get out another set of egg whites. All right, so these won't be aged eggs, but at least they will be extra meringue to loosen up that batter. I don't know that I'm gonna use all 3 of them, but I will definitely at least use 2. Okay, stiff peaks once again. Now let's see if we can loosen up this batter, because right now this is like rock hard. I'm not even sure. I mean, I know that some recipes like Crumbs and Doilies, when they make their macarons, they start out with a harder paste and then mix in to loosen it up. But I feel like this is even like harder than that. So it's all an adventure. This is what happens when you like to adventure for people. I mean, that's way better. That's way better. I'm gonna end up putting all 3 of the extra eggs. So it called for 2 egg whites. I'm putting in 5. Like, I don't know. We're looking good. The batter is loosening up quite a bit. We still have some hard chunks in there, so I'm still gonna use some of this egg white. But we are much, look at the difference. This looks like a macaron batter. See, I'm telling you, something about her recipe, it's probably a great recipe. Something about the recipe calculator is off. Okay, look at that. Saved, maybe. Let's move on. Okay, so I have a piping bag, and I'm just going to pour my batter into the piping bag so that I can pipe out what I think will be macarons. Still a little runny, but it's way better than too thick. All right, and I think I'm gonna switch to the larger tray just in case they actually make 12 cookies, not 12 halves of a cookie. So, all right, you ready for this? Let's do it. Okay, so if these pipe like macarons, we know what to do, right? We're gonna push this down and we're gonna fill these holes with macaron. Okay, here we go. Okay, I mean, it's a runny macaron batter and it's kind of grainy too. She did not tell us to blitz our almonds beforehand, which is fine. Sometimes I don't anyway, especially when They're just for me and I'm not giving them to anyone. These are gonna be the messiest cookies because they are so runny. That's okay. Okay, well, I feel like it's gonna make more than 12 cookies now. We're gonna tap them on the counter. Okay, they look like macarons. Color me surprised. Let me get a toothpick. Actually, I'm gonna use my cake tester and releaser. I'm gonna get rid of a couple of these bubbles that I saw. Oh, there's another one. And yeah, and we're just gonna let that harden for that 1 hour. And because there's more batter, we will do some more. I mean, like, what's the harm? Okay, well, you know what? They look like macarons. They act like macarons. I can pop the bubbles. They may get a skin. I mean, they should get a skin. They're made of meringue. Okay, I will be back in an hour because what we have to do now is we have to let them form a skin. So I'll set my timer for 1 hour and we'll be back. Well, they look like macarons and they did harden up, so they're not tacky. So they're ready to go in the oven. All right, the time is up and they look like macarons. They have a skin on them like I know they should. So I'm feeling encouraged that this recipe just might work. Of course, I did add the extra eggs, but that's beside the point. My oven is preheated. So they're going to go in that preheated oven, 350 for 12 to 15 minutes or until they look dry and they don't bounce when you touch them. They should also get feet if they are true macarons. So I'm gonna do one pan at a time. But good luck, fellas. We'll see you back here when they're all cooled and ready to be filled. Okay, they're out, they're dry, and they do not look like macarons. They look kind of like vanilla wafers, only chocolate, and they don't have any feet on them. And I'm sure it's because the ratios are all messed up. They are crispy though, like they sound super crispy, so I'm not totally throwing in the towel yet. So let's go ahead and make our ganache. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna warm our cream, pour it over our chocolate chips, and then sprinkle in some salt. We're gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna whisk it together and let it sit and cool so it can thicken. Oh, microwave. While that's in the microwave, I'm tempted to taste one. Let me taste one that looks the worst. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, that's not a macaron. Maybe it'll taste better with the ganache. Oh, I don't know. You know, this just tastes like a mouthful of sweetener. Oh, what to do, what to do. I have some buttercream here from a different recipe. I need to see something. No, no. Wow, okay. The amount of sugar in that recipe is wrong. This just tastes like a mouthful of sweetener. Hold on, let me look at the recipe. Nope, everything's right. So yeah, I'm not gonna continue because these are not good. These chocolate chips are very expensive, $5 for 10 ounces. So I do not want to waste them on these cookies right here. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to find another recipe that is sugar-free that doesn't taste like that. Okay, so now that those are in the trash and my mouth has been rinsed out, I hopped back onto the website and went to the comment section of this recipe. Now, the recipe itself, which is why I went ahead and did it, it had 4 stars. And so I was like, okay, 4 stars, that's plenty. However, every single comment that is posted is a 1 or 2 star, and all of them had the same problems that I did. It wasn't me. So I did leave a comment very nicely and just say they were disgustingly sweet. The measurements were off, and here is how I know. I measured it with measuring cups and measuring spoons, and then I weighed it, and they were vastly different. So I think that's why this recipe didn't work. There is something wrong with her recipe calculator that is throwing people off. That being said, always read the comments of the recipe that you're going to do. I usually do. If they have 4 or 5 stars though, why would I? It's fine. It's fine. It was an adventure. I learned a lot and I adapted. I knew that it needed more egg. That was obvious because it was just so thick and sticky. But they were just not good. So that's okay. Sometimes we fail. So sometimes you never see me fail, or you never see me fail this big. But sometimes you have to share these things because as an everyday cook, we all need to know that it's okay to fail and it's okay to get up and try again. So I will try this recipe again and hopefully I will find a recipe that actually works. If you have a sugar-free keto macaron recipe, hook me up because I want to try it for Rosalie and for my friend Amber. All right, you guys. Well, if you enjoyed that adventure, give it a like. Don't share it with anyone because it's a fail. And it's okay, it's a fail. But it's a fail. But I do videos here several times a week, and I'm always looking for the next adventure. So find me a keto, sugar-free keto macaron. And I think I'll make that, but maybe not this week. I need to get that sweetener taste out of my mouth. All right, guys, bye.